Hello everyone, I'm Baggy Bleach, and today I'm just going to be colouring in some sketchbook drawings that I had. I did use pencil on them originally, but because I have these amazing new pens that I got for my birthday, they are the Ohuhu, well, it says they're like Honolulu B. They're alcohol markers, and they're absolutely incredible. And so because I have some pieces in here that are markers, and then I have some pieces that are kind of cheapy pencils, it doesn't look cohesive and it's annoying me. So I thought I would just go over a lot of the pencil pieces with some pens, which some people might feel a little bit sad about, but I think they do look considerably better by the end of it, especially when I keep some of the pencil texture underneath the pens, as you can see I'm doing. But yeah, this video I haven't scripted, so my apologies if I'm completely all over the place. I also don't really record a lot of like spoken videos. Usually I just do speed paint, so I'm also not very used to it. I thought that I couldn't talk for 15 minutes, like, oh my god, what am I gonna say? But I had my first therapy appointment recently and I spoke for the entire 50 minutes, so clearly it's in me, and I'll just have to unleash it in these videos. So yeah, you can either have me on in the background, or you can draw with me, or you can just watch me colour in, which is quite funny because it's kind of like you're looking over my shoulder and drawing, which I don't really like people doing in real life. Like, sometimes I like people having a little glance because then I feel special, but if people are just like staring at me draw, it makes me feel like I should be perfect, and then I'm like, oh god, what if I do something and they're like, why did she do that? That was stupid. But oh my god, I'm really going off track. The thing I wanted to talk about today was it's something I've been struggling with for a really long time now, and everyone who knows me has heard me talk about this concept and this idea over and over and over again. And it's the idea that, like, I and the whole internet have changed a lot. In 2020, I don't know if anyone noticed, but everything was like really, really colourful and exciting and glittery, and there were these anime edits everywhere. And I know that we obviously have phases, but it's been really strange. And okay, I'm gonna properly explain. So think about 2018, I believe it was, and if you think of, I do want to say it was TikToks at that point, but it could have been Musical.lys. But even think about Musical.lys and the beginning of TikTok, they were so like all over the place. It was so dramatic, and it was just music. Obviously there were competitors in who could make the best Musical.lys and like move their camera around and like lip sync the best, or like have the best setup. Obviously there was still that kind of competition, but it was also like silly in my opinion, and it was mostly like, I don't know, like kids in school who dominated the actual like what was going on, or at least maybe it was on my feed because I was at school at the time. But like all of my friends were just like posting their favorite songs and then lip syncing to it, and it was just all fun and games, and it was great. You know what I'm gonna say, obviously. But then like there was the should have been Mercy or something. Should have picked Mercy song, and that was everywhere, and everyone was then lip syncing to that, and it was just like, even before COVID and 2020, it was still quite silly. And I'm speaking specifically about TikTok because Instagram obviously had their weird moment of dank memes, which wasn't good. Like, some of them were quite funny, but most of it was just like traumatizing, and I'm not even exaggerating. If you were there at the time, you know what I mean. So that wasn't fun. And I guess the main thing is that it was all created by people and not computers, AI more specifically. Maybe that was what it was, even though some of the memes were just terrible. But anyway, moving on. It just felt like 2020 and even 2019, 2021, there was this togetherness. And obviously with COVID and everything, everyone was together. Like, we were all stuck at home and we were all on TikTok, basically. I mean, technically I wasn't. I was actually just on YouTube, and I would watch TikToks on YouTube because TikTok just didn't work on my phone. And I don't really know why. It didn't really interest me because I had it on YouTube. And so I'd watch them on YouTube, and I absolutely loved it. And when YouTube Shorts came around, I would watch that. But I'd mostly get Reels from Instagram, I think, when they brought Reels in. But yeah, if I would see anime edits, I would see like Five Nights at Freddy's edits. That's when I got back into Five Nights at Freddy's. And it was just such a fun place to be. Everyone was expressing themselves, everyone was being really colourful, everyone was just loving characters, and there were still problematic people in the community, but you kind of just like, we just kind of laughed them out. Obviously cancel culture was a thing, but it was just like, if you're gonna be weird, go away. And they'd kick up a stink, and then that was it. We just then go back to having a fun time. And I want to say it just wasn't that deep back then. It felt like even though we had really intense things going on, it seemed like because it was so intense, we found a way to escape a little bit. And terrible things did happen during COVID, and we all kind of came together about it. It was weird. This is just my perception and my algorithm that I got, but I don't know, there just felt like there was a really big togetherness and expression for the internet and from the internet that is not there anymore, and I think it's affected me a lot personally. I've had a lot of things happen that kind of coincided. When COVID started, I'd left a really toxic friend group, and I had become friends with someone who was really, really lovely and really creative and really excited. They were very giggly, they really liked characters, and they would like things that originally I was told to consider cringe in the friend group I was originally in. Like, they'd make fun of Five Nights at Freddy's, they'd make fun of emos, and that's exactly what I was and what I liked before I got in this friend group. So it was really difficult to hear them kind of rip into everything that I loved and everything I identified with. But luckily I finally got out of it, and I became friends with someone who really liked Batman, and he had a really close connection with his brother, and I didn't really have a close connection with my sister because I considered her to be too young. I think she was 9 and I was 15, so there was quite a big age gap. She might have even been 8, so there was quite a big age gap, so I didn't feel like we could be friends, if that made sense. Like, I would look after her and we'd play, but I wouldn't consider us like buddies, which is so sad to hear and like to think about now. But because I could see my friend being so close with his brother, and they would play games together and they would joke about their favorite characters together, I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to join in on this too, and I want to include my sister. And so when I'd come home from these like hangouts with my friend, I would then include my sister. I'd show her like William Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's, and I would show her like drawings I'd done. I'd be like, do you want to draw with me, of like Freddy Fazbear and Foxy? And she'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah. And so then we would just sit downstairs and we draw, and we would also just watch like TikToks and animations and stuff, and it was just so fun and it was so pure. And I know that, again, that's my side of the algorithm. I don't know what everyone else was experiencing, but it was just such a good time, and I think that really coincided with my life and what was going on at that point. But then I don't know, it only lasted about a year, and then 2021 I then stopped being friends with the really happy friend, and I think I was kind of running on fumes. Like, I'd learnt so much from them that then once they'd left, I could kind of maintain it, but at the same time my sister got into like a very niche thing that I wasn't into, and so we kind of grew apart a little bit, and it was just, everything kind of went dim. I was really motivated and I had a lot going on, in the sense of like, I was writing a book, I was doing fan art every day, I was really into my characters. I had the Connection Terminated comic going, and I'd actually just put that on hiatus so that I could start my my OC's comic, and so I was really getting into it. And then I had another big life change where I met my boyfriend, and I had to then kind of readjust this lifestyle that I was in since COVID, of being a bit of a hermit. Like, I actually had to go outside now, and I had new friends to hang out with, and so there was obviously that struggle of trying not to identify them with my old friends, but also my whole life had changed, and they aren't into the same things I am, and they're nowhere near the same as my old friend, like the bubbly one. But yeah, so it was hard because I was running on the fumes. I don't want to say the fumes, but like the high that friend gave me, and I was running out. I was running out of the inspiration that they'd given me, and the internet changed with me. It was really weird. It seemed like the internet also slowly slowed down or sped up. I'm not sure. It seemed like companies were taking over, and then AI was developed, and people stopped posting like glittery selfies in anime TikToks and their favorite characters. I still see them sometimes, but it's so much more serious. And at the same time, people have come a really long way. Like, people's art has improved so much, and it's beautiful. But at the same time, it's so professional that people who aren't professionals yet get lost and drowned out in these amazing artists. And it's not their fault at all, but there's a very lack of whimsy and silliness because of these really professional artists who probably were around during COVID, who are starting out. But it's weird, like, so I was struggling to maintain who I liked being, and the internet was also struggling to maintain who it originally was. I'm speaking about it like it was a person, but you know what I mean, like, it was changing. And I think that's why there's so many like 2020, 21 nostalgia, like cosplayers, like cosplay playlists and anime playlists and stuff like that, because everything changed. And it just so happened with my life personally that my life coincided with the change perfectly. And so this whole time since 2022, which felt like the really big difference, I've been like, who the heck am I? And why am I not who I used to be? And I found that the answers really are just, I'm not surrounded by the people that I was, and the internet isn't the same as what it was. Like, I'm not seeing the same things, and it's just that people change. And I don't want to think like, oh, I'm growing up, because that's miserable, or I'm not passionate about things and I'm not excited about things because I've grown up. That's so sad, and I refuse to believe that. So it's difficult because the past few years I've been setting challenges and failing challenges to bring that spark back of drawing every day, or I mean, I guess drawing every day is the main thing I've tried to do. But all of these drawing everyday challenges just aren't working because I'm also not sticking to any routine that I used to have. I had a very strict routine back in 2020 and 2021 where I'd wake up at like 5:30 a.m. and I'd watch something that I love, and I would draw and wait for my friend to wake up and then chat with them and giggle with them, and then I'd go to sleep around 9 or 10, and that can easily be created, to be honest. Like, I woke up at 5:30 today for the first time in a really long time, and I feel so relaxed and so happy, and I'm just taking the world, or I'm taking the day one step at a time. Like, I've got work today, and I feel like I've had an entire day before I even have to go to work. And I'm so privileged and lucky that I only work part-time. So I work about 4 hours a day, Monday to Friday. But if you don't have a routine, that can take up your whole day. Like, if you're messing around and you're like, oh, I need to make lunch, or I need to make breakfast, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I need to do this, I need to do my washing, I need to change my sheets, I need to hoover. Like, if you have all of this stuff to do and you're not organized, your day really does escape you, and then there's no room for passion, there's no room for excitement unless you're finding it within these little moments. So sticking to that routine will help. I know it will help, so I need to stay doing this. But I'm actually running out of time. I'm sorry, this was a complete ramble, and I didn't even scratch the surface of what I wanted to say. So let me know if you found this interesting. And if you liked this style of video, I have so much to say, clearly. And clearly I can talk for 15 minutes because I've had to cut this short. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope that you feel yourself. I hope you feel exactly how you want to feel. And I hope you're not grieving someone you used to be, because it's a really hard feeling. And I really hope that I can let you know when I stop feeling that way. And I will let you know when I stop feeling that way. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next crazy video. Goodbye.